Welcome back to the nightly sports call. We're taking your phone calls tonight, 412-575-2600. We can also answer some tweets about anything you want to talk about, you know. People said they were going to try to prank call me tonight, Gene.
No. That would never happen. Not our people.
That doesn't happen on this show, right?
No. Our audience is not that juvenile. There's no way. It just couldn't happen.
All right. Hey, you know what? What I did want to bring up tonight with you, Gene, a guy tweeted me about, first of all, you know, if you have, you're going to be doing some stand-up soon, right?
I am. I have a couple of dates coming up. Thanks for mentioning them.
Do you want to mention them?
Yeah, November 18th at the Connequenessing Country Club, and November 25th at the fabulous Arcade Comedy Theater downtown on Liberty Avenue. Okay.
So, you know, I've seen you a few times, and tremendous stuff, by the way. And we were going back and forth, me, Pomp, and a couple other people chimed in about your skits. And my favorite skit of all time is your all-time draft skit. And I wanted to bring it up tonight. You know, the story comes from what? You were working in Philly, right?
Yeah. We were covering an Eagles draft in Philadelphia, and we had nothing to do because the Eagles had traded all their picks. So we're sitting around, we'd eaten everything we can get our hands on. There was nothing to do. So we came up with this idea for our own mock draft. That's where that story comes from.
And who went #1 overall?
The first pick, it turned out, was, and the format was you could pick anybody who ever lived. You're drafting for a football team, but pick anybody who ever lived. So, you know, take 15 minutes, think of everybody who ever lived. Who would you draft? The first pick was Ben Franklin. He was chosen by Ray Didinger with the first pick of the draft. And we said, Ray, you know, you could have picked, it's anybody who ever lived. You picked Ben Franklin. He said, hey, he's a big guy, smart. He's an offensive tackle out of the University of Pennsylvania. You build around him. They built a nation around the guy. So he was the first pick. Genghis Khan went second. He was an outside linebacker out of Mongolia State. I had the third pick. I took Attila the Hun.
Oh, okay.
Defensive end, gets excellent penetration. Fourth and fifth picks, I can't remember, but the sixth pick, Ray Kelly had it. Ray Kelly worked for the Camden paper. He went up and he said, the Eagles select with the sixth pick in the NFL draft, Jesus of Nazareth. He's a quarterback out of Galilee Tech. The kid, he works miracles. He sees the whole field. You know, that was the end of the draft.
How was he available with the sixth pick?
That's the whole point of the story. 5 teams passed on Jesus in the first round.
That is a tremendous skit. I love it every time I hear it. Let's go out to Chris in Uniontown. How you doing, Chris?
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Good, thanks for calling.
Hey man, can we stop this masquerade, man? Get rid of Pat Narduzzi, fire him, his whole coaching staff. Pitt is like a high school football team out here. They're not playing. They're not coached good. Can we please fire him now?
You know what, Chris? I don't think we need to fire Pat Narduzzi yet, Gene. I mean, he's
That's
having
what
a tough
we do on
year.
This show.
Yeah.
Fire him. Well, how about Mike Sullivan? Should we fire him?
He's having a tough year. You know, he wanted to be the CEO, and maybe he needs a couple more people around him, but he also needs his own players in here. I mean, next year is a really good chance to see what this team can do.
Pitt's a young team. Right.
Pitt's a very young team. They do have some talent. The big problem with the Panthers right now is the quarterback issue. Everyone thought Max Brown would have been the guy and have been able to step in here after the Nate Peterman transfer error, and then it was the Max Brown. But they need to find the right guy for quarterback. I don't know if Ben DiNucci is the guy, or this Pickett guy underneath him, or they have a couple other guys that might have the opportunity of winning the job next year. But I think that's right now what Narduzzi needs is a good quarterback.
Yeah, well, you know, quarterback is kind of a microcosm of everything that Narduzzi is up against. I mean, look at the people who've quarterbacked Pitt for really the past 10 years. They're either local kids or transfers, or you know, rarely does Pitt get a high pedigree quarterback, and the reason they don't is recruiting. Who that's a high pedigree quarterback that could have his choice of schools wants to play here on a Thursday night in front of 20,000 people? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, you know, also for quarterbacks, you would think that the weather is an element here too.
Sure.
I mean, it's cold.
Sure.
If you want to throw it all over the place, you're going to go to a southern school, or if you're a good quarterback, you're going to go to a high-powered offensive school. You know, Pitt rarely, like you said, even goes back to even before that. I mean, they got Tyler Pelko because he was a local guy. You know, Todd Graham got Chad Wojtek because he was an elite quarterback too, but because he ran that spread, weird, no huddle, just try to, what was it called, high octane offense.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guess you maybe have to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah, trying to think of the last quarterback that Pitt had that a lot of people wanted. Was it Pat Bostic?
Maybe. He was a 4 or 5 star from the middle of the state.
Yeah,
I think
right.
it came down to Pitt and Penn State, and he chose Pitt.
He's probably the last one, and before him, what was the last one?
Rutherford had a. It was before him was Rutherford.
Yeah, I suppose.
Tyler
that's right.
Pelko was in there too, I would say. I mean, didn't he have his choice of a bunch of different schools?
I can't remember.
Yeah, so you know, those guys were. I think Tyler Pelko, when you look back, him and Alex Smith came out of high school the same time, and Tyler Pelko was a 5-star recruit, and Alex Smith was like a 2-star.
Oh,
and look at where Alex Smith is now.
But even that is 10 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and Rutherford was before him. I think he went Rutherford, Pelko, Bostic, and then Wojtek was in Elite 11 in that Elite 11 camp. He was highly rated, but since then, you know, Nate Peterman, I think, was a 4-star when he went to Tennessee, but just didn't fit in there. Josh Dobbs beat him out, and he came here to get an opportunity. So, all right, let's go back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to James in Monaca. James in State College. You're up.
Hey, Rich.
Hey, how you
I was
doing?
watching the game, but I missed part of it, and I haven't seen Jordan Whitehead. Did he get hurt or what?
I don't think he's hurt.
I didn't see him play in the last second half at all.
I can tell you, I've noticed Damar Hamlin a lot out there today. You know, and with flipping back and forth through this and putting together a show, sometimes I might miss a few things. But yeah, I've noticed Damar Hamlin, and I've also noticed Darren Hall a lot tonight. Yeah, I think Whitehead did have 1 carry on offense for -2 yards. I haven't seen much of him on defense, to be honest with you. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. Thanks for your call. We're going to go out to Jerry out in Hempfield. How you
Hey,
doing,
Rick,
Jerry?
talk about Pitt. You know, sometimes they look really good, the team, and sometimes they just look awful. Now, tonight, I just watched a little bit of the game. Just before halftime, I seen a defensive back. He actually mugged the receiver. He went airborne and jumped all over him.
It was right on the sideline with what,
Yeah.
you know,
There was no
30
penalty,
seconds ago.
Right. But
Yeah.
the thing is, he should know better than that player. He came from high school. He's in college now, and he should, you know, he should be able to understand this. Maybe he's not understanding the coaching or he's not paying attention. Some of these kids, I don't understand how they're playing without understanding the rules of the game and letting the coaches do something. Is it bad coaching or the kids aren't listening?
You know what? I don't think it's bad coaching, Jerry. You know, Gene, I think it's just it's a young team. They're still learning. It's going to be growing pains, especially just like the football team. The basketball team's going to deal with even more growing pains than the football team is right now. It's a young team. You got a lot of young defensive backs, just young guys everywhere, and they have to do a good job, as Narduzzi says, coaching them up, and they've done that. But it takes time. You'll see a big improvement next year. I didn't think, and we talked about this at the beginning of the year, Gene. I didn't think Pitt was going to be better than a 7-5, 7-6 team in a bowl game. You know, they're right on that pace. They could get. They should get 5 wins if they win this game tonight. They're losing right now, but you would think that maybe they won't get 5 wins. There's a minute left, and North Carolina has the ball.
And Miami.
Yeah. So, and then after that, you got Virginia Tech and Miami. Those are 2 games that you're probably not going to win. So, I kind of expected this from Pitt this year to be a subpar
I
team.
think that was the line just sold about Pitt. I mean, Pitt last year had a really good year, beat Clemson, beat Penn State. That's about as good as Pitt can be.
Yeah.
And so I expected them to take, you know, a big step backward this year, although I didn't see much of that sentiment in the preseason. I think people were really hopeful. But I think this was due because of the reasons you cite, Rich. They're really young. You know, they've got some rebuilding to do, and even at a fully rebuilt state, Pitt is a 7-8 win team.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, I think you're like you said. I mean, the best for Pitt is you got to hope for 8 wins, a 9-win season like Wanstead had when he was here. I mean, I think that's the top of the line.
Oh yeah.
For the Panthers.
It's an
All
outlier
right,
too.
they're yelling at me. We got to go to break. Back with more phone calls and some tweets coming up next.